So this is how to connect to a thinkware dash cam. Most of them are the same, so follow these steps and you will learn. It's quite simple. So on the back of the camera, we're just going to look at this one here. So we've got power at the bottom, microphone top left, in the middle we've got manual record, top right we've got format, and then on the left we've got bottom right we've got the Wi-Fi button. So we start the vehicle up, let it idle. We've got our power light on to say it's recording and ready to go, and we're going to press
on your smartphone,
Wi-Fi button.
Connect to a Wi-Fi network whose name starts with thinkware.
Then we are going to go to our application, which will be this one here, thinkware dash cam, and I want to connect. Okay, so we're going to go through the Wi-Fi. So we'll go open this up here, and it says there, do you want to connect via Wi-Fi? Yes, I do. So it says activate your camera, press the Wi-Fi button on your phone, on your camera. So we press next. I've done that. So in a minute we should have now a Wi-Fi. There we go, thinkware 76. Touch that one. Password is always the same. Leave it the same because it means that engineers can fix your camera instead of you changing it and then getting lost. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's it. Okay, then you press connect. Now it will connect to my camera, and she will say connected to a smartphone. You may get this message on your phone, which basically says the internet may not be available because we're connected to the camera on Wi-Fi. Don't worry about this. Don't press keep Wi-Fi connection. Don't press disconnect. Press your backup and then come back out of it.
Connected to a smartphone.
And she now is connected to a smartphone. See, it says here connected via Wi-Fi to an F800 Pro. They're all pretty much the same. So if we go up onto our file list, we've got continuous recording, front, rear, front, rear, front, rear, and it's date and time stamped. If we go on to motion detection, obviously if there were anything on here with park mode activated, parking incident, if park mode was activated, you get the point. So all of your files will be front, rear, front, rear, front, rear, all the way down, okay? And there's different sections. That's connecting the camera. So we're going to run through the setup, which is the dash camera settings. So we'll click into this. We've got memory card settings, dash camera settings, record settings, road safety settings, system settings, and network function settings. So you can set up your camera how you want to, but this is how I set up mine. So the first thing I do is we've got here, we'll just do the memory partition continuous. Well, yeah, that's fine. We can format the memory card from here.
Memory card format will now start. Memory card format completed.
We come back out of there. We're going to go into camera settings. So you've got the option for brightness of the camera, front and rear, and you've got the rotated rear camera, so you can flip the image whichever way you've put the camera up. So if the camera was basically, as we look at our camera, you see it's slightly to the left. Obviously if you had that round the other way, you can flip the image so it's not upside down, it would be the right way up.
GPS connected.
Come back out of here, we go into record settings. So we've got continuous mode, incident recording sensitivity, we'll have that on low. That's basically if you run over speed bumps and things like that, it will set the camera off. If there was an accident and you were knocked unconscious, it would automatically record the impact. Super night vision, we have it on parking mode, so if the car is parked in a dull lit place, it activates like a special sensor so that the sensor takes on more light and you see things clearly when they're darker images. We're going to turn on parking mode. Now I like to have mine on motion detection. Now if somebody keys your car, they're not likely to move the car and wobble the car and move the gyro inside the camera. So if you have it on motion detection and they're going to key your car, chances are they'll walk at it, set the camera off, and then key your car and you've still got their face. Impact sensitivity mode, we have that on low. Motion detection, we can have that on either mid or low. Off timer 48 hours, that's standard, or 72 hours. You can have like recording for longer. Battery protection, now we enable this to say that when the vehicle gets below a certain voltage, it will shut off the camera anyway. If you left your car in a car park at an airport and you were there for like 2 weeks, you don't want your camera recording continuously because you'll get back to your car and your car will be flat. So we set this down to 12 volts or 12.1. 24 volt obviously doesn't matter because this isn't a 24 volt vehicle. And then we've got wintertime battery protection. So we will activate that between October, November, December and January. So it basically watches out for the battery being flat and puts it into a protective mode so it doesn't flatten your car. Then when we press the top left arrow, that will then save to the camera. So that information is now zoomed up to the camera, and our camera has now accepted those settings. Then we go into record settings. No, we don't. Sorry, we go into road safety settings. Now, I like having the safety cameras enabled. It will bong when you come down a road where there's a safety camera, because it gives you a warning. If you're in an area that you don't know, it will tell you where the cameras are. You've got mobile safety alone, so this is like the mobile cameras and this is like the fixed cameras. Vehicle sedan. Now this is to do with the type of undulation you get in a vehicle. Obviously this is a sedan, but if you had like a boatier vehicle, like a bus or something like that, you can set the camera to understand the motion of the vehicle more. Lane departure warning. So we've got obviously we've got bings and bongs for, it has a radar out the front of it, so it can sense vehicles traveling at different speeds so you don't rear end them, and it also will bing and bong at you if you cross a lane, like a white line in a lane. It will warn you that you're straying across the lane. So if you were dozy and falling asleep, the camera would bing and bong to say that you're not concentrating. Forward collision, we'll have that on low. Low speed collision, we'll have that on low. Front vehicle warning enabled. That's fine. So we'll save that. Back up arrow, there we go, that'll save to the camera. And then we go into system settings. Language, volume, self-explanatory. The security LED. Now I like to have this on blinking left and right. Enable the rear LED, because at night you'll get a white strobe like Knight Rider across the front of the camera going left to right, and it just attaches people's attention, draws people's attention to the camera. So if you're going to get some bell end acting stupid around your car, let's be honest, we'd rather they didn't damage our vehicle. So if we've got the LED on, at least it makes them aware that there is a camera in the vehicle, and they may just leave your car alone. Daylight saving, not really fussed about. Speed, kilometers, miles an hour, obviously we're MPH over here, and speed stamp you can have enabled or disabled. I have it switched on, but be warned, obviously, if you ever get stopped for speeding by a police officer, they have the right to remove your dash cam and use it against you, so just be careful of that one. And then we save it, and that's it. So the camera is now set up. So if I go back to my Wi-Fi settings and we turn the Wi-Fi off, so if I disconnect,
Disconnected from a smartphone.
so she's now disconnected from a smartphone, so we've come away from that. Now if I turn the vehicle off, the camera should now go into park mode all by itself.
Parking recording will now start.
There we go. So she's now gone into parking mode. There's about a 30-second delay depending on your ignition. Now the vehicle is now in park mode, so if the vehicle was hit, you hear that beeping? That's now just recording an instant. So if somebody hit the car, it would record to say, I've had a problem. So the next time we start it up, turn the ignition on, the camera comes to life.
During parking mode. Event detection recording. 1. Occurred.
Wait. 1 second.
Continuous recording will now start. GPS connected.
So we started the vehicle back up. It's alerted us that there's been a problem. Said what kind of impact it's received, and it's told us that obviously we need to check the camera. But that's pretty much the main setup of how you use a thinkware. Most people get confused with a thinkware. Just because you've started the vehicle up in the morning, you don't need to be connected to this thing on Wi-Fi to have the camera working. It will work all the time when it needs to without your interference. Okay, you start the car up as long as it's wired properly. You start the car up, it'll start recording. You turn the car off, it will record into park mode. You don't need to mess with it. You don't need to be connected to Wi-Fi every time you drive the car. You just let it do its thing. And if you need to see something, then you connect to Wi-Fi. It's not like you need to be connected to Wi-Fi all the time for the camera to work. Another misconception about this, when it says Wi-Fi, that is not the internet, okay? Wi-Fi means a wireless connection, like a remote control that does it via infrared. This is just a wireless connection from your phone to the camera. Connecting your camera to Wi-Fi does not give you the internet and mean that you can surf the web, nor does it mean that you need to connect this to your router at home. It doesn't work that way. It's just a wireless connection to be able to get the videos from your phone to your phone from the camera. It's not the internet, it's a wireless connection from A to B. Hope that helps. See you soon.